What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Carnage issue number 14. This will be part 5 of Carnage Reigns. As we are getting closer and closer to the Omega issue of Carnage Reigns, we have seen that Cletus Kasady has taken over the city, being able to hack into the old Stark network, seemingly isolated to New York City. We have seen him take over the people of this city, and it is going up in flames. Chaos and destruction in the streets. And we have the likes of Miles Morales and Red Goblin. The two of them, they are down here, they are fighting on the ground level. Most recently, what we learned is that Normie is able to absorb other symbiotes. Now at this point, we don't know if this is just strictly the Carnage symbiote pieces that are out in the world that he can absorb, or if it's all symbiotes in general. The only example we have gotten so far is when he absorbed the Carnage piece that was attached to Kenneth Neely. But in doing this, he greatly angered Cletus Kasady, with the whole city descending down on Miles and Normie, with the odds stacked against them, looking like all hope was lost. That is when Fei Long's Stark Sentinels have come into play, making their arrival just in the nick of time. But will this be enough to stop Cletus Kasady? Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we have Cletus Kasady that is taking stock. We know that Carnage is out there somewhere trying to become a myth, trying to become a god. But Cletus Kasady has been doing his own thing. While Cletus is out here trying to take over the city, we have learned that the Osborn kid, he is able to absorb symbiote matter in some way, shape, or form. And him and Miles Morales, they have been out here trying to stop Cletus. But Cletus talking to himself in an empty laboratory, he's trying to figure out what he's going to do next. Thinking that maybe they've been going too small. Maybe they've been thinking too small. They've been trying to reach millions of people, but why not trillions? All of these old Iron Man armors, they could use them to build a bigger mirror. They could use them to do so much more. And so while they plot, we are taken down to the street level. Red Goblin and Miles, they are doing everything they can to hold back this horde. But it's simply not enough. With the Stark Sentinels telling everybody to clear the streets, that they are about to begin their sterilization. This is when Red Goblin gets the idea that maybe, just maybe, he can be able to absorb Cletus Kasady, that his symbiote can kind of absorb other symbiotes. So as he tests this out, trying to absorb whatever this connection is Cletus has over this people, he is able to free people from Cletus's grasp. This is what gives him the idea that maybe he can also absorb Cletus. Maybe they can bring all of this to an end. And so as Red Goblin goes on to absorb as many people as possible, absorbing all of Cletus's control over the mob, we are seeing that this is really having an effect on him. Not sure if he is able to handle this, he is still going to try. Meanwhile, Fei Long is sending his Stark Sentinels to Stark Tower. They begin to rip at this tower, with the Carnage symbiote completely encasing the tower. The Stark Sentinels are trying to break through. They're trying to break in. And that is where Cletus Kasady comes into play. Not being a fan of robots in the slightest bit, the battle between the two of them begins. As these Stark Sentinels begin to lay down the hate, we are seeing that these Sentinels are no match for Cletus Kasady, which is quite interesting considering the X-Men team had such a hard time in fighting them. In fact, they had a hard time fighting one of them. But this upgraded Cletus Kasady is able to possess them, is able to take them over for his own. The Stark Sentinels, recognizing that they are being compromised, they initiate their self-destruct sequence with a massive explosion. Miles and the rest of the team, they are making their way to the tower, knowing that this is their only option. Now, Red Goblin isn't sure if he's gonna be able to do this, but they have to try, as our heroes begin to climb. the mob following close behind them. We see that Carnage is still dealing with one of the Sentinels, and this Sentinel was able to purge successfully, able to upload some type of virus. This means that Cletus Kasady is no longer able to broadcast his signal. He is no longer able to take anybody else over. But this came at the cost of both his Stark Sentinels. This is what gives Scorpion and the rest of the team their opportunity. They jump in at Cletus, and we see Red Goblin doing his best to try and absorb this carnage. In doing so, he sees the ocean of cruelty. He sees the monster. He dives into the mind of Cletus Kasady, able to see his thoughts, able to see everything that happened. We see Red Goblin almost go unconscious, with Miles recognizing that Red Goblin is not going to be able to absorb him. They grab Red Goblin and they try to make their getaway. As they jump out the window, we see that Cletus really has turned into some kind of hideous monster, failing to do what they had planned to do. We see that Cletus is on the run. He is out here causing all kinds of mayhem. But more than that, he has possessed some Iron Man suits, and he is going around to those that are fans of Cletus Kasady, crazed psychopaths that live within Staten Island, New Jersey, and Queens. These are Cletus Kasady's missionaries, his insurance policy. That's what takes us over to New Jersey. We have Tony Stark that is witnessing all of this going on, seeing that his Iron Man suits have been used in this really corrupted manner. We see Tony Stark beginning to suit up because Iron Man is now jumping into the fray. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like I said with part 4, I have thoroughly been enjoying the Carnage Reigns. This event really has been a lot of fun, but I'm a little bit disappointed we haven't been focusing on what Carnage has been doing, because I feel like that's the more important story. He has created his sword, known as the All Red. He is making his way to godhood. And so while Cletus Kasady is causing all kinds of mayhem, all kinds of destruction, this is only the beginning. This is only the start of all of it. While everybody is focused on Kasady, Carnage is out there becoming a freaking god. I do feel that the Stark Sentinels are rather inconsistent so far within the stories of X-Men and Red Goblin Carnage Reigns, because we saw that Cletus Kasady was easily able to take down 2 Stark Sentinels, while the entire X-Men team, it took all of them trying to take down 1, and we're talking about Omega level mutants. So it does seem rather silly that Cletus Kasady is able to take both of them down, and he even smashes in one of the skulls. And it's just inconsistent. That's really what it comes down to. The inconsistency of these Stark Sentinels. They were brought in like they are going to be some huge threat to everybody, to mutant kind. But Cletus Kasady is able to destroy 2 of them within like 5 minutes. Also, this is all taking place in New York City, and Red Goblin and Miles are the only ones on scene. No Doctor Strange, no Avengers, no X-Men team. Hell, it's even taken Tony Stark this long to get into the fight. But outside of those inconsistencies, I have been enjoying this so far. Like I said, my favorite thing to come out of all of this is Red Goblin. It is Rascal and Normie. I am so excited to see the heroes that they are inevitably gonna become. To watch them grow, to watch them become as strong or even more powerful than Carnage and the rest of them. I'm just hoping that this is something that's not rushed. I want them to take their time. I want them to truly build up these 2 characters. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with this series, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50. From loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.